Hello and welcome to another episode of Green Homes and Bacon, and tonight I go it alone as I scoot up Mount Tamborine to profile another amazing green home and talk to its owners about bringing balance and harmony to your life and the ups and downs of being in business. So sit back, relax and enjoy.
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
Tonight's feature home is located on Mount Tamborine, which at around 550 metres above sea level forms part of the scenic rim volcanic plateau and is the jewel in the crown of the Gold Coast hinterland. The mountain is a popular tourist getaway with the well-known Gallery Walk offering a diverse range of local arts and craft galleries, cafes and restaurants, fashion and other specialty shops, wineries, accommodation and its great national parks and walkways. But let's turn our attention to tonight's featured green home, which is owned by the delightful and welcoming couple of Elio and Michelle, who, after 25 years in the rattan furniture business, opted for a change of home and location. But building a new home such as this wasn't really on the plans.
What actually happened is we've been coming up to Mount Tamborine probably all our married life. We'd come up for the weekend. We've always loved coming up here. We thought we'd end up living up here, and we thought, okay, we'll buy a place up here, and that we'd do up while we were living at Ashmore. But we came up here one weekend about 4.5 years ago, and we decided to look at some houses and some properties. And we looked at about 3 places, and the real estate agent bought us here. And
which was a block of land.
A block of land, that's right.
He said, oh, do you mind if I just take you to show you this block of land? And it was just land only. And Michelle will tell you the rest of the story.
And we stood under, there's only really one tree on the property, and we just both loved it. And within 4 days we bought it. And it all started from there.
Do you think there is a stereotype within general population that a green home is something they might fear? They think it's a bit weird, awkward alternative as opposed to what it is today, which is really just a very modern, contemporary and very intelligent home?
I think there's a lot more awareness out there. Every year the awareness grows. But I don't think people think that it's going to be that unusual. I mean, there might be a bit of fear out there that if it's a really green home, am I going to have enough electricity, depending if it's on the grid or not. But I think there's a lot more awareness out there. And certainly government regulation now too. I mean, they're lifting the standard that your home has to be more, meet higher standards, certainly with insulation and with lighting. So I think there's been a lot of progress, even in the last 3 years again.
Yeah, I think generally the people want to do the right thing. Money is a consideration, obviously. So if governments and and councils and all the bodies, if they can help to bring that price down and to encourage people to live, in an eco-friendly way, well, there's benefits for everybody. But the majority of the people, I believe, do want to live that way. It's more a matter of whether they can afford to live like that, whether they can change from where they were to moving into a new way of living,
Yeah, it doesn't have to specifically be a new way of living. I mean, part of the concepts that we're trying to put across is that you can still, step by step, you can green up your home.
Yes.
There are stages that you can go through that make your home more environmentally friendly, more sustainable, more efficient.
Absolutely.
But they are costs that you have to incur, but not necessarily are they a cost so much as they can be an investment in your home. And whether or not we can sell a home in the future which is green and it might attract a better price as a green home as opposed to just a home that might just have the same architecture but doesn't have the features, the technology and the materials that constitute it being a very eco kind of a home.
Yes.
I wouldn't suspect at the moment that unless someone was particularly environmentally conscious, that where they are specifically shopping for an eco or a green home, that they would pay any more. To them it's just a house, and if it's got solar and you're reusing your water and it's extremely efficient, that's just a bonus. It's not something perhaps that might add to the value of the property. Whereas really that's what we should be getting to. Is that it's kind of an elite sort of a home. And not elite in terms of it's not achievable, but it's the premium of a home, premium style of home.
Give it currency.
Yeah, that's the word, currency. Yeah, well done. And that's exactly right. But I guess we will, because there's small steps being taken all the time now about promoting. I don't know if there's enough about promoting green homes and really what they are, what they stand for, what they consist of, what shouldn't be feared. And more than that, it's the people that live in them. And that's what interests me a lot too, that there isn't a stereotype that the owner of a green or an eco home is an alternative style of person. You know, their living style's alternative. A hippie, yeah, well, that's probably what...
Well, my youngest son thinks we're hippies because we live up on the mountain. So, you know, it's
so
all
that's
down
what
with...
constitutes being a hippie, living in Mount Tamborine. Yeah, it's all that organic
What
stuff.
are you living up there for, Mum, you know?
Yeah. Too many greens, Dad.
And so, as tummies rumbled, Elio makes a start on his favourite Italian breakfast while Michelle explains how the evolution of their green home came about.
Well, I've been interested in our impact and what we did and how we lived, you know, for a long time, right from when my children, actually it was through raising the children, being aware of what they ate and what they did had an impact on them. So I started modifying their diet and learned a lot about chemicals and things, you know, 23 years ago.
Wow.
And then I started reading, you know, books about biodiversity and another one on natural capitalism. And so I've had this awareness for a long time, and it just sort of grew. Suddenly we had this opportunity to build a house. Can we make it, you know, build a greenhouse? And it just sort of grew from that. And so I started asking questions, and a friend of mine who introduced me to a naturopath years and years ago, I was talking to her. I've been trying to find an architect, a green architect, and she's French-Canadian, and she said, Michelle, my friend's husband is an architect.
Well, Elio has breakfast ready to serve, so we move out to the balcony to savour his delicious Italian scrambled eggs and the fresh mountain air. And we'll be back right after the break.
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
So, as we tuck into breakfast, the conversation soon comes back to the perceived stereotypes about the owner of a modern green home.
There is a perception that, you know, that we're either hippies or, you know, nudist naturalists, you know, walking around, you know, and or, you know, all that sort of stuff, you know, green and, you know, and dirty or whatever. But yeah, I do think so. Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether I quite agree with you on that, but again, it's going to be people are going to have all different views, aren't they? That's the thing. And it's only part of the picture. The green home's only part of the picture. It's about your relationship with everything.
Well, it's just probably one of the myths that, you know, we'd like to debunk, you know, even through the program, to show that that not only the home, but the people are kind of normal. I don't know if that's maybe the best word to use, but it's something that probably will become more mainstream, and that the people that own a green home aren't necessarily, you don't have to be a greenie dude to own a green home.
No, definitely not.
A green home just makes fantastic sense. You can combine style with sustainability.
Yes.
And eco can equally mean economical as much as it can mean ecological. So there's, you know, you can blend all that in and have a very contemporary home that just functions so well, minimises your impact, I guess, on our environment. It's a sustainable home, it's a comfortable home, it's a healthy home.
Yes,
And that's what all of those things do about a green home. And I think that's, you know, out of representing the 10 homes that we will through the series, that's what, you know, I'm hoping the overall picture that people will get watching is that they just, this is a normal home, this is the house next door.
Absolutely.
It just incorporates some very intelligent features, building materials, technologies that just make it work a lot kinder to, I guess, our environment. And you don't have to be an environmentalist, you don't have to be a greenie to incorporate all of this. So is there, you know, the overriding thing for me is there a perception in general society that a green home owner is some alternative style of living? And it's not. It's just a sensible style of living.
It's respectful, actually.
Well, enough said. Now I'm keen to hear about Elio and Michelle's business and how that fits in with their personal philosophies.
Well, for 30 years we owned a retail furniture store specialising in eco-friendly furniture, being natural cane products. So it's really been a natural progression to sort of, as I said, go into a green home, because it's always been what we've sold.
And a feature of your business as well.
Yes, that's right. It's a renewable resource, and I just have loved it. You know? So, and we also, part of that business has been a restoration centre, so we restore people's furniture as well. So where it's
We
needed
recycle their furniture for.
recover,
for want of a better
repair,
word.
respray, do whatever needs to be done with that too. So
business has been, overall, business has been good for you up till a recent period of time. Is that fair to say? Or your business has changed, hasn't it?
well, we've gone through a lot of changes. You know, it was very small when we first bought the business, and we expanded. We manufactured there for a while, then we outsourced, and now we've just Ali's just made another big change again. We've gone from a big retail environment to a much smaller factory outlet, and 5 days a week, as opposed to being 7 days a week. But certainly when the GFC hit in 2008, September, I mean, that had a major impact on us and everyone. I mean, so it's been a very equalising
It affected
thing.
all businesses. Any small businesses, and even big businesses have been affected by it in some way, percentage-wise.
Especially in the retail environment.
And that's affected the finishing of your home, hasn't it?
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, the funds dry up, and of course you can't finish what you needed to do. We probably overspent on the home, a little more than what we thought it was going to cost us. But when you're constructing a home like this, you can't afford to take a shortcut. If there's something that needs to be done, and it's a structural thing that needs to be done, you have to do it, and you have to do it properly, because it will turn around and bite you if you don't do it.
Or special design features too.
Well, this is not just an urban box home. It's been designed. It's got steel and concrete and all these different things to get the design that we need. That we'll design for us. So we couldn't afford to take any shortcuts. So that put a little bit of pressure on us, financially. And then the GFC hit, and basically we just had to put the brakes on doing anything. And we've still got things that we have to do. And that's okay. We're in here. We're comfortable. Everything's functioning properly. Everything else now is just cosmetic.
And while those unfinished finishing touches are mainly confined to floor coverings, wall detailing and decoration, and the kitchen joinery, the outside still has a small, detached and self-contained apartment to be built, together with some minor landscaping.
So with your business, GFC kindly hit in 2008. You're a retailer. You're importing as well, your furniture?
No, not directly. We were a major supplier for a company that's been who imports this furniture from Bali. So we're one of their major suppliers in Queensland, or one of their suppliers in Queensland who retailed.
And they have good, eco-ethics as well. They have, the green trees that they promote.
Yes.
Themselves, so we like that as well.
For the timber component.
Yeah, for the timber component that's used in the cane furniture, they promote that they're green, and we like that, as opposed to the synthetic furniture that basically just fills up our tips. You can't recycle it, you can't do anything with it. You just throw it away and fill up our tips. Whereas the natural cane furniture, it's a natural vine that grows in the rainforests of Asia. It's sustainable. It continuously just keeps growing, and it's a lovely product to work with. You can recycle it, you can respray it, you can repair it, you can do all those things to it.
And there's many varieties of the product as well. Like you get many varieties of apples. This particular variety actually grows like this, and it's stained in vats of mud for 3 weeks to colour it that grey colour.
Wow.
So there's not even any lacquer on it.
Yeah.
So it's called Cubo Grey. But then there's other, like in our 3-seater in there is Wicker, which is another 3mm cane which has been stained in lacquer. So like apples, there's many different varieties.
Have you found that people's shopping has changed, certainly from an internet point of view?
Yeah, look, I think some of the change is absolutely wonderful. I mean, the fact that you can do banking at 11 o'clock at night, the fact you can do window shopping at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it's fabulous how things have changed. So we've just had to move and adapt, and adaptation has been hard for a lot of people when you've been doing something for so long. How can you adapt? We
remodelled our business 12 months ago. We had, for the last 30 years we've had, retail frontage. With large overheads and and the lovely showroom and things, and with the advent of internet it became apparent to us that that was, just going to be harder and harder to survive in that sort of environment. So we remodeled our business and we made our business more internet based, so that you could go onto our website and you could view the product, and you could maybe make some selections, and prices and all that sort of stuff. And then if you wanted to come and sit on it, we set it up so that we've got a display showroom, that if you're interested in buying that piece of furniture and you can get to the showroom, you can come in and sit on it and see how it feels, for comfort and so on before you buy. But if you're too busy and you can't buy, and if you're stuck out somewhere in the middle of Central Australia or something, and your only way of shopping is just to get on the internet, well, we can accommodate those people as well.
And one of the main things also, we went from a 7-day-a-week business to a 5-day-a-week business. And
yes.
That's always going to be welcome.
Very welcome.
It was very difficult the last couple of years of the business being 7 days a week, because rents were so high, and therefore to employ staff became prohibitive as the retail went through a very sluggish period. So we were doing 7 days a week for a while. So now 5 days a week.
I think we've seen with the the onslaught of internet shopping, that retail probably will never be quite the same as it ever used to be. In the way that people do their shopping. I have various friends in business, and often they're finding that their place of business is a showroom for people that want to buy off the net and get a better price. Do you see a lot more pressure on buyers wanting to negotiate what might be a set price on something that's being sold? For sure.
I don't know how it'll all pan out in the end, but suffice it to say there's big changes going on until we get settled in a new way of doing business, I guess. But one of the other good things too, we became very materialistic as a society. So that to me has been a good thing, that with the lack of funds out there, people became more aware of what they were spending their funds on, because they had limited funds. So you weren't so materialistic, you know. So that's a good thing.
And coming up after the break, Elio and Michelle's Green Home.
You're watching Green Homes and Bacon.
Elio and Michelle's home is the culmination of many long and hard but successful years in business, but more importantly their deeply ingrained beliefs of harmony, happiness and taking responsibility for their own impact on the environment. The calming mood is set as soon as you enter the front door and transition into the extensive main living room that draws you immediately to the balcony and the terrific views. Built over 2 levels and facing north to maximise the sun's solar properties of heat and light, the central balcony area unites the home and provides an amazing living space. Inside the home, ventilation and cooling is achieved through raked ceilings and higher pointed windows, together with the many other window and slider door openings. The master bedroom has access through its own living room and also has direct access to the balcony and those amazing views.
Were you able to incorporate any recycled materials into the home?
We were actually. All the timber decking we have outside is ironbark, recycled ironbark timber. We got from Will put us on to a timber yard in Brisbane, C&B Timbers, and so it's all recycled and there's a lot of it in the place. I really enjoy going to the timber yards actually, just the vibration of the timber and being exposed to it, so that's what's been done. Also in the little powder room, I shopped around to try and get something that would be a different sort of vanity, so I bought an old TV unit, had it done up in our factory and had a marble top put on it. And in our bathroom, the vanity I have in there, there's a big buffet. It wasn't recycled, we got from our store, but I took the top off that and put marble on that as well. And some furniture pieces that, there's 100 years old, I recycled that. But yeah, we tried to do that where we could, and we've recycled some of the carpet in the house too.
Yes. Until better times.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned a meditation room before. Is that just a technical term for the naughty room, or is it a...
I've never had that question posed to me before. No, well, it's a time, a room of reflection and quietness and books and reading. Yeah, that's what that is. and reflecting on life. So it's just a quiet room. We don't, never interested in having a media room or anything like that. We're sort of
It's
not-
probably the quiet room of the house where you
Yeah.
can go to and, and just stillness.
yeah, just reflect on life and read or just quiet.
And while Michelle enjoys the solace of the meditation room, Elio is right at home on the balcony. And who could blame him?
Anything that you might surprise in building a home?
I think so.
I didn't expect that we wouldn't have had it finished, But then at this point in time, but if sometimes if you know too much, you may not have taken it on
That's
either.
right.
Because I was an owner builder, so I didn't own a builder course, and so it was a big house to take on working 7 days a week to try and do that.
Sometimes if you think too much about things, you don't get a start and you never get it done, or you never do things, So sometimes you just got to, just do it. Basically, just get up and just do it. That's basically what we did, and I mean, it's worked out fine. The results are there.
Do you think you'll save you? This is a home for a long time for you both?
I think so, yes. Yeah, certainly.
We have a lot of family come and go all the time. Mum comes up here. We have a lot of extended family. People.
We didn't just build it for ourselves, we built it for others to enjoy as well. And it doesn't matter who would come into this home. I want people, whoever comes into this home, to enjoy what we have, and we want to share that with them. It's not just for us, if you know what I mean. It's lovely to invite someone to come up and enjoy and share with us what we've got. And we want to give that to people.
Because you're building, you're also in the process of part of the wider asset. Granny flat. So that's obviously the basis stone.
Yes.
So that'd be, I guess, the next important thing to get completed in the home.
Once we finish the cosmetic here on this house.
So the cosmetic will be first and then
Yes, and then the granny flat.
A bit of functionality, a bit of
is that just a granny flat, or do you have a period in mind?
my mum.
Your mum, yeah.
She's in great and stuff. She's in the
Yes.
Goes down and surgery. Oh look, we're very blessed. We have a great relationship with all our
If someone's not well or something like that, this is a lovely place to come up to get better.
Well, the family that we've had here, each time we've had to come and stay here, they go away well. It's just a way for them.
It's very uplifting. It's good for your health.
Yeah.
We like to share that with people as well.
In a nutshell, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Well, that's it for another week on Green Homes and Bacon. Special thanks to Elio and Michelle, and of course our program sponsor, the Queensland Country Credit Union. Next week, I've tracked down another great green home amongst the Brisbane suburbs, and Lee goes on the trail of hemp. Well, so until then, we'll see you next week.